Okay, everyone, here we go. Chapter 7 of The Mandalorian. Again, freaking Deborah Chow hitting a home run right out of the park. She has been just killing it with the 2 chapters that she's directed with Star Wars. Some of the shot choices, the way she's building anticipation, just fantastic. The action sequences are great. She really gets Star Wars. Chapter 3 and now chapter 7 have been my 2 favorites. Chapter 6, honorable mention. Well done as well. Yeah. That sounds good. Overall, she's just... I'm really excited that she's taken over Obi-Wan, that she's going to have the whole show to herself, because, man... she's great. I can't say enough about her right now. I thought this chapter, The Reckoning, as it's called, was a great... It really brought the show back into the main storyline here. And... it builds anticipation now for the finale. And I don't know. I have to see who's directing that. I haven't looked. I'm not sure who's directing the finale. But, I wish it were her, because... she's just doing such a great job with the 2 chapters she's been given. But anyway, let's kind of break it down a little bit here. So it opens up with Mando on his ship, Razor Crest, and he gets a transmission from Grief, who was not killed. That we still knew that he wasn't dead. He had the Beskar in his pocket, so when Mando shot him, he survived. So he gives a transmission saying, "I'm alive. I know you're alive. If you're getting this, I need your help. Let's let bygones be bygones. You come help me, and I'll call off the guild. I'll take the bounty off of you, from the guild. So come back and help me out, because the character, I forget his name right now, the Imperial, they call him the Imp for short, for Imperial. I don't think he's not a Moff, because we finally meet Moff Gideon, but he's some kind of higher up in what was the Empire, but he's kind of taken over. He's brought in more Imperial guards to Navarro. Am I saying that right? The planet that they were originally at in chapters 1 and 2. I think it was Navarro. So he's calling Mando to come help him and wipe the slate clean. Get all these Imperial, kill the Imperial, the Imp, and help him out. So Mando goes back to the planet where Cara Dune is at, and tries to enlist her. We get a little fight sequence. He enlists her after she kind of has a little. She's not so keen to join him at first, because she doesn't want to take over, just go help him take out a warlord. She doesn't need the work. And he says, no, it's not a warlord, it's an Imperial. And then she's like, okay, well then I'm in. So they get on the Razor Crest. They are going to head to the planet, and Baby Yoda's there. And Baby Yoda starts taking control of the Razor Crest and, almost throws him into a spiral black hole or something. They realize they need someone to take care of Baby Yoda, because they can't leave him on his or her. I don't know if it's a baby boy or girl, but they can't leave it on its own. It took 7 chapters for Mando of constant, nonsense here, that Baby Yoda keeps getting himself into these little trouble, and finally Mando's like, okay, yeah, I guess we do need someone to watch him. We can't leave him on his own, because he keeps trying to leave him on his own. I don't know why Mando keeps thinking he's can take care of himself. Clearly it still is a toddler and needs someone to watch after. It needs a babysitter. So they go back to find Quill, our little Ugnaught friend, played by Nick Nolte. So they're bringing everything back. Now all these little characters they've met are starting to come back together in this, and they enlist Quill's help, and Quill says, okay, I'm coming, but he's got the IG-11 unit, and it's been reprogrammed to be kind of like a domesticated maid, I guess you could say, which Mando is not happy about, because Mando doesn't trust it, because it knows its nature. Regardless of how you program it, its nature was to kill, so it does not trust the fact that this IG-11 is now domesticated. So a little apprehensive there. But Quill says, well, either it's coming along or I don't go. So, and then they bring the Blurgs too. So they all get together, merry little band of bounty hunters and Ugnaughts and warriors and Baby Yodas, and they take off to Navarro. And as they're on route, they kind of there's a little getting to know each other moment, and there's a fun little scene with Mando and Cara Dune, and they're having an arm wrestling match. Kind of, it could go either way, and Baby Yoda's watching and starts to get a little angry or worried or something, protective of Mando, and it uses the Force choke. And when I saw that, I thought, oh, Baby Yoda's going evil, finally! I was waiting for this moment, because I'm like, how does Baby Yoda, well, first of all, we don't know how it knows how to do any of this, right? My main problem with this is kind of being used as like well, that's why Rey's so strong, because the Force just does whatever it wants. It's kind of justifying the whole Freddie Prinze Jr. debate, but it goes against everything that has been canonized with Lucas, but that's a whole nother argument and conversation. So that's a gripe I have with this. Is that, somehow Baby Yoda knows how to just do all this stuff, but it uses Force choke and goes evil and starts choking out Cara Dune, and it was a nice moment because she's freaking out, and then they realize what's going on. They're like, no, that's my friend, don't do this stuff. I thought it would have worked better if Baby Yoda just starts getting agitated, like starts crying, and it just does it. Cara Dune just starts like getting force choked. Not that it was intentional, because I think the fact that Baby Yoda's like intentionally doing it, that kind of throws it off. Because how does it know to do this stuff? It's never been trained. It shouldn't know how to do that. But nevertheless, I think it should have just come out as as Baby Yoda was getting agitated, that they were, that he thought they were, or she. It thought that they were fighting. I thought that would have been a better, it starts getting force choked. So it was kind of unintentional. But this was intentional. He was trying to, or she, my goodness. We got to find out the freaking sex of this Baby Yoda thing, because I can't keep calling it he, she, it. Was doing it intentionally. So, I'm not really sure about that. But it was still a cool moment. I like the fact that you were seeing that, like, hey, this could go bad. There's no guarantee with this. So they get to Navarro. They meet Grief, which is Carl Weathers' character. And, he gives them the rundown of what's going to happen, how it's going to go down. So Mando decides, okay, I'm going to go as your prisoner. Cara Dune's coming with me. Quill will take the baby back to the ship, because they, traveled quite a far away here from the ship. So he's got to go back to the ship on the Blurg, and they're going to take just the carriage that's empty and try to trick, the imp into believing that they're bringing back the baby, and Mando has been captured. So they head to the town, and on the way to the town, they well, actually, before that, there's a nice little sequence where they're camping out, and they get attacked by these dragon-like creatures. I'm not sure exactly what the creature is. I have to find that out. I don't know yet if that's been established what those creatures were, but they're like dragon sort of type-looking creatures. And they take one of the Blurgs. They take one of the bounty hunter guys that Grief has with him, and they injure Grief. They scratch him, and it causes a poison to start running up his arm. And they didn't have enough med packs. Cara Dune tries to save him, doesn't work. So Baby Yoda comes over and does the Force heal like he tried to do on Mando, and I think that was like chapter 2. He does it full force. Again, how does he know to do this stuff? I don't know. That's one of the problems I have with how they treat the Force and Baby Yoda now, how Disney seems to be doing it, that it's just happening, I don't know, unless we find out somehow that this baby's had some sort of training. But at this age, how would it, I don't know, it's kind of a problem. But, it's, overall, I'm enjoying the show, so it is what it is. But it does the Force heal, and of course we know that apparently Rey uses the same power. Now, I don't have a problem with Force heal, because it's been in like virtually almost every video game forever. So, it's ability that we're familiar with. It's not like Disney's come up with this. I think the thing is, like, how does Baby Yoda know how to do it? Force choke, Force heal. It's hitting all sides of the Force and all abilities somehow. So, but it heals Grief. So when they get to the town, right before they get to town, Grief turns around and shoots both of the other bounty hunters. He's got 2 other bounty hunters with him, and then Cara Dune and Mando, and he shoots and kills the other 2. And he says that, look, I got to be honest with you. I was hired to kill you. We were going to bring you here, kill you, and bring the baby back. But after Baby Yoda heals him, he has a change of heart and can't go through with it. So he says, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep going with the plan. We'll say Cara Dune captured you. I've got Baby Yoda. We'll turn you in. I'll slip you a gun. You can shoot the imp and kill him. So they go to the bunker of the imp, the Imperial, and they who's played by what's his name? Werner Herzog, who's he's fantastic. I really liked his character in this show. His scenes are great. He gives this nice little speech of do you think things are better since the Empire has fallen? Look outside. It's death and devastation, and, there's no order. He gives a point of view. You're like, yeah, I see, based on what we've seen in the show, I get what he means. It's wrong because it's tyrannical, but, I can understand his point of view. It's a sympathetic point of view. So, you kind of, you relate to it in a way. But, it's the wrong point of view because obviously the Emperor was tyrannical, but it had some sort of order where now it's kind of the Old West sort of feeling. So it was an interesting speech, and he just does such a great freaking job delivering it. Werner Herzog is awesome in everything he does, directing, acting. He's fantastic, and really elevated the show in general. So, anyway, he's about to say, let me see Baby Yoda. He gets a call, and he's taken over to a little, his computer console communication system. And there we finally see Moff Gideon. And he's got the transmission version of Moff Gideon. And he says, hey, have they brought the baby to you? And he says, yes, it's here now. It's sleeping. And he says, are you sure? And then all of a sudden, blaster fire comes in the window, kills Werner Herzog character, kills the imp, kills a number of the stormtroopers, and then we've got something really going on here. So things just got shaken up. So we've got Mando and Cara Dune and Grief, and they go to the window, and they see all these death troopers that are lined up. You get this nice kind of spanning shot of these death troopers. And then a transport comes, and you've got all these stormtroopers that are exiting a transport. And they're all lined up, facing their guns towards the where our heroes are. And I'm pretty sure they use the 501st Division for the stormtroopers for extras. So kudos to them for involving the fans in this show. Great job with a little fanfare by actually involving the fans in the show. That was really cool. I know that they did that by someone I know who worked on the show. So, well done to involving the 501st. And then you've got Moff Gideon's TIE fighter that comes and lands right down in the center of them. The wings fold up. A really cool shot, really cool scene. And then he comes out and says, you're outnumbered. You don't know what you think you know what you have, but you don't. And this baby means more to you more to me than you will ever know. So there's something big going on here, right? Well, we don't know. That is pretty much. Oh yeah. Then we've got the last shot, which was wow, shocker. So in this whole thing that's going on in the compound, meanwhile, Mando's talking to Quill, saying, "Get that baby back to the ship ASAP. Get out of here because we're pinned down and things are going bad." So Quill's on his blurg with Baby Yoda, and they're trying to get back to the ship as fast as they can. And all of a sudden, you hear Mando saying, Quill, and there's no response. And you see Baby Yoda on the ground, laying on the ground, a biker scout that's chasing after them, trying to get to them before they can get on the ship, scoops up Baby Yoda and, zips on away. And then you see Quill laying there, apparently dead. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like he's probably dead. He's got kind of smoke coming off from him, so there's some blaster fire, and that's where the episode ends. Great job, anticipation very heightened for this, and here's my thought on this. I wonder, because how did they know? How did the imp know that the baby wasn't there? Or not the imp, sorry. How did Moff Gideon know that the baby wasn't in the carriage when he fires the blasters and kills the Imperial, kills Werner Herzog? How does he know that the baby wasn't there? There's something there. There's something more going on here, and I'm wondering if IG-11 is to blame. Possibly IG-11 really, like Mando said, his nature is to kill. So maybe there was something else going on there. I don't know, but somehow Moff Gideon knew that the baby wasn't there, and We don't know where at IG-11. The last time we saw him, he was on the ship waiting there. So I wonder if he was the one who came down and shot Quill off of his blurg, killed Quill, and then the biker scouts come behind and swoop up the Baby Yoda and fly it or drive it. Biker scout it back. I don't know. Just my theory right now that there might be something going on there because somehow Moff Gideon knew what was going on, and I'm wondering if IG-11. If he had some kind of backup system or something, it would pay off because Mando doesn't trust him. So, we'll see when chapter 8, the final chapter. I wish the show was longer, but, it is what it is. This episode was very strong, I thought. It really pushed the story, brought things back together. My one thing is I wish they would have introduced Moff Gideon through the transmissions earlier on in the season. I wish chapter 4 or 5 had little clips with him being introduced. I think it would have paid off more when you finally see him. Kind of like the Emperor in Empire Strikes Back. We get that transmission, we kind of see him there, and then it pays off when we meet him. I wish they would have done that. It would have also maybe helped chapter 4 and 5 kind of keep streamlined to pushing the narrative of the overall season because they felt so kind of just little side episodes. If you would have introduced them a little earlier on as the transmission, I think it would have kind of built anticipation, kept those shows where you still kind of pushed the narrative. But little things here and there. Let me know what you guys thought. I know this video is a little longer than I wanted it to be, but there was a lot to talk about with this episode. So let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. And until next time, lock the doors and hope they don't have blasters.